There are many people asking why. There are many people paying attention. There are many now who see the big lie.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great big beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Tuesday. It is July 15th, 2025. As always, yours truly holding the media's feet to the fire. They gaslight, they manipulate, they flat out lie. Guess what, media?
You won't be trusted anymore.
And that seems to be the general theme of this broadcast. That's been my mindset for 3 decades now. I have no love for the mainstream media. Having worked in the mainstream media, well, sort of like. I was a staff announcer for an ABC affiliate many, many, many years ago, and I saw what ended up on the cutting room floor. I know that they've been manipulating and gaslighting people for decades. We've been lied to our entire lives. Anyway, I'm here to basically provide you information with the receipts. I'm here with the audio receipts. My name is Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF reports. And as always, we are brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. If you haven't checked it out, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. And by the way, today is the last day of the $150 discount that you'll get if you decide to order a Wave Watch. Do some research on it. It's based on, Tesla always said frequency is everything, and Royal Raymond Rife put that philosophy to work when he did his research on frequencies and what frequencies, sound frequencies, have the effects on cells and on pathogens. It makes cells thrive. If you play the right frequency, blood cells, kidney cells, brain cells, you name it, that'll help those cells. And it'll also go after the pathogens, fungi, bacteria, viruses, etc., etc. Do some research. You'll find out about it. Check it out. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. You'll see a little pop-up window there, and you can, go right down to the sponsors page and check out the Wave Watch. You'll be glad you did. Okay, well, where do we go? Where do we go from here? Yesterday, I was talking about the 3 main issues that are facing humanity. And one was population reduction, and number 2 was war, and number 3 was trafficking. And we all know what that's all about. That's on the front burner right now all over this country and indeed all over the world. And there is a common denominator. And I'm going to see if we can't put some puzzle pieces together today. You folks can connect the dots. Try to figure out what the common denominator is here. It's not too hard to figure out if you're willing to open your eyes. I mean, there are people out there that just don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. No, they put their fingers in their ear. They close their eyes and they go, la, 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 la. They don't want to see it. They don't want to hear it because, dear listeners, there are too many people who put too much importance on their pride and on their ego. Nobody likes to admit that they were wrong. That's what Samuel Clemens said, a.k.a. Mark Twain. It's always easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. So, unfortunately, it's a tough pill to swallow, but unfortunately, it's going to be shoved down our throats one way or the other. Anyway, okay, so where do we start with today's madness? Well, let's go back a week. I think it was a week ago today when we all got the chance to hear what happened in the White House briefing room with Donald Trump and Pam Bondi. Let me see what I just had it here. Oh, here it is. Okay. We all remember hearing this, and I'm sure you've heard it. We'll listen to it again. Here it is.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Okay, yeah, that's it on Epstein. Closed doors, let's move on. Nothing to see here. Well, there's a lot of reasons that why people are still going after this. Let's not forget, what was it, 2 years ago, Dan Bongino, when he was doing his podcast, he said the following.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second. Yeah, he's right. During that period of time, we were still under the Biden administration, and yeah, nobody wanted to talk about it. Yeah, it seemed that the liberal Democrats were letting the whole issue go. Now, a lot of patriots out there were not letting it go, and this is one of the strong platforms that Trump stood on to get reelected last year. Okay, so the point is that, yeah, the liberals didn't want it coming out. Stop and think about it. Who was involved there? Lots of Hollywood stars. Yeah, are they liberal or conservative? Yeah, lots of rock stars. Are they liberal or conservative? And then you've got lots of politicians and globalists out there. Are they, are they liberal or are they conservative? All right, so you start to understand why we didn't have too much as far as, any investigation into this Epstein issue under the Biden administration. And, of course, Bongino was out there, Kash Patel was out there, Donald Trump was out there, everybody was out there saying, okay, day one, once we're in office, we're going to release everything. And it didn't happen. Okay, so now we move forward, and now we're into the Trump administration, and everything seems to have changed. Yeah, and people are not buying it. They are not buying it. There is a guy by the name of Nick Holscher. He's a doctor, and he was talking about Pam Bondi. Now, does she have something to hide? Well, here's what he had to say.
Pam Bondi, once she got in as Attorney General, all of a sudden they dropped a investigation into Pfizer they were looking into them for corruption in Mexico and China for all sorts of sketchy practices. And we know, they commit criminal activities all the time. But so now we see a protection of the criminal enterprise Pfizer. This is not what we want to see. And obviously we've all heard of the Epstein stuff, right? But yeah, it's not a good week whatsoever.
Was she ever connected back to the pharmaceutical giants in any way, Pam Bondi?
Yeah, she did. She did work with, or she at least consulted with Pfizer for some legal things in the past. So she was already connected with them. She gets in, and then she wipes away the investigation of them. So Very, very worrisome.
Very worrisome indeed. So Pam Bondi has some a little bit of dirt in her connection with Pfizer. And when she was Attorney General in Florida. So, okay, well, let's take a pause from putting the puzzle pieces together. We got a phone call here. Let's go to, I don't know where we are. This is Cynthia, I think it is. Cynthia, is that you? This is Dave.
Yes, this is me.
Okay, what do you got, sweetheart?
Well, I'm following your theme of blackmail, bribery, coercion. Henry Mekhow has a lot of contacts also, like you, and he apparently has posted on his site and on X that the Camp Mystic had girls, right? And some of those girls were maybe the offspring of people who were investigating biowarfare profiting.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's going around. Some people are saying, they were all Trump supporters. There was that angle to it. And then there was also the angle that they were involved, their parents were involved in some nefarious activity like sex trafficking. Maybe they were being groomed. There's all kinds of information going on about that. What's true or not, it's hard to say. Go ahead.
But what he says is that for 90 minutes, there was no cell service before the event happened, and that there were helicopters and drones coming in. And that he's basically hinting that maybe 20 of those girls disappeared and were taken. And that's why they haven't been found, why their bodies haven't been found.
Yeah, that's...
And if your parent was involved in some kind of investigative procedure on population reduction issues, biowarfare, by golly, having your child stolen away and having a bunch of people murdered would certainly be coercion, blackmail.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bribery, coercion, and blackmail, yeah.
Hopefully the people in that area and this other patriots who are concerned will make sure the sheriffs act on that, because that has to be a military type of maneuver to do all that. There have to be footprints somewhere, fingerprints, and the sheriffs have to step up to the plate. They cannot stand back.
Well, that's true too. That's true too, but unfortunately, from what I've heard, there is a lot of corruption down there in Texas. The Bass family. The Bass family is very heavily involved in the same type of activity that the Epstein issue is all about. And so the thing is, and they're extremely powerful, extremely rich, and they have extreme control over many of the law enforcement agencies in Texas. That's what I'm hearing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I fled Texas myself.
Yeah, I lived in Texas a while ago, too. Yeah, do some research into the Bass family. You folks out there listening, you want to do some research, look up the Bass family in Texas, and you'll find all kinds of interesting information about them. Okay, anything else there, Cynthia?
No, just how best do we get the sheriffs to decide to do the right thing, to stand up to that? How do we best do that?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Now, the question is...
The oath of office.
Well, yeah.
The oath of office.
Yeah. They got to see if it's even registered in the courts, because a lot of these people, they don't have a registered oath. So that's really interesting, too. That's another little bit of information and a suggestion for some research. So, checking out the oaths of office of your public officials, that can be very revealing in itself. So,
remind us what day your show was that had the man from the National Gun Owners Association talking about their oath of office.
Yeah, I believe that was last Thursday. I'd have to go back and check. If you go to my website, go to TheWTFReports.com and scroll down, and all of the shows are archived with a little bit of a synopsis there. So I believe that would be that would be the 10th, I think it is. Yeah, I think it was the 10th. So go back, go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Scroll down till you see July 10th, and I think that would be the day. His name's Kit Carlson. So.
All right, pass that around, folks.
All right, my dear. You take care. Bye-bye. Okay, let me see. Getting back on track here. This issue about the Epstein files, and this thing is really going viral. As a matter of fact, Tucker Carlson was at Turning Point USA, and he had this to say about this. You can't pull the wool over everybody's eyes. Here's Tucker Carlson.
The fact that the U.S. government, the one that I voted for, refused to take my question seriously and instead said, case closed, shut up, conspiracy theorist, was too much for me. And I don't think the rest of us should be satisfied with that. And by the way, let me just say really quickly, because I was so mad about it that I think I found out part of what's going on. I think we are going to find out more. And I think the truth, for whatever it's worth, in case you're interested, is that the DOJ didn't release lots of incriminating sex videos with Epstein and his billionaire pals because they don't have them. They don't have them because when the original search warrant was served, 2007, I think, possibly 2006, I think 7, it was basically designed to protect Epstein. The search warrant was written in such a way to make sure that the feds never got their hands on the actually incriminating evidence. It's another way of saying the cover-up has been going on since 2007, almost 20 years. And so the real question is not, was Jeffrey Epstein a weirdo who was abusing girls? Yes, we can answer that. The real question is, why was he doing this, on whose behalf, and where did the money come from? And those are the questions that need to be answered. And I think it's entirely fair to ask them.
Okay, I'm going to pause it for a second. Where did the money come from? Now, that's something that's, you always got to follow the money trail. And also you have to ask the question, who benefits? It's not hard to figure that out if you think about it just a little bit.
And it's not adequate to say anyone who asked them is somehow desecrating the memory of little girls who died in Texas. They're not going to put up with that answer. I don't care who gives that answer. That is not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American.
I wonder, if they're not American, which intelligence services do you think, folks? It's not hard to figure out. Oh my gosh, it's so easy. A grade school kid can figure this stuff out.
And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from?
Good question.
And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried.
Nobody's ever asked. Because, you don't look for what you don't want to find. It's one of those deals. It's verboten. If you want to follow the money trail, it's not hard to figure that out. But a lot of people don't want to go there because they don't want to find the source of the money, because that's going to implicate certain organizations and individuals that have basically insulated themselves from any kind of examination or criticism whatsoever, because if you dare go after them, if you even suggest that, you'll be labeled as an anti-something, fill in the blank, okay? I think we all know where this is going. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because, Tucker Carlson and many, 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 many other, social influencers, they're not stupid. They know the answer, but you dare not breathe that answer, because the person or entities, organizations that are implicated are so very, very powerful with very, very deep pockets. I wonder who that could be. I wonder. Well, J.J. Carroll was talking with General Flynn and also Chuck Swindoll. And I was going to play this yesterday, but I didn't get to it. So, but I'm getting to it now. Give a listen to this one.
In one place, I have been told that we need to start looking, and it made perfect sense and I didn't even think of it. A lot of people are saying you need to start looking underground. I'm like, what do you mean underground?
You're talking about the disappearing children.
Tunnels. Underground tunnels, there's underground spaces, living places. Where do you hide children? You have to hide them out of sight.
They must be held accountable. We cannot continue to go after, we're going to go after pedophiles at the lowest levels in counties and local levels like we do right now. But we've got to get to these upper echelon elites who are abusing children. 9 years old. And I guarantee they were younger than that. 9 years old. You just go around, look at these elementary schools, and you say to yourself, anybody who's got a straight mind or who's got a mind that uses common sense, and look at a child and go, these bastards were abusing these children. And some of the things that they did to them that I have become aware of because of researching is just so disgusting. I mean, it's unbelievable. These people are psychopaths. They're evil. They're satanic.
These folks are dyed-to-the-wool, Luciferian Satanists. They have completely given themselves to this cult. Luciferians communicate directly with Lucifer through the ritual practice of child sacrifice. This practice originated in the cult of Baal. Baal is just a name for Leviathan or Lucifer or Moloch. These are all referencing the same energy. The cult of Baal, which is the oldest cult ever established on this planet, is the ancient precursor to Luciferianism. Luciferianism, I personally consider, simply a formalized and highly organized cult of Baal. They are pure darkness, and this emptiness, lack, drives their craving for our life energy.
That's right. And I have to apologize. I don't know where that other voice in the background came from, but it seemed to make its onto the recording. But yeah, this is what it comes down to, folks, is that, again, it doesn't make any difference what you believe. Doesn't make any difference what I believe. What matters is what they believe. And they believe in Lucifer, in Baal, Beelzebub, Satan, whatever name you want to put on it, Moloch. And this has been around for not just centuries, but millennia. These practices and these beliefs predate the Old Testament. Child sacrifice has been around since the Druids, since, as a matter of fact, a little fun fact, on Halloween you have your jack-o'-lanterns, okay? It's all fun and games and everything, right? It's supposed to have a spooky face on the pumpkin. Well, back in those days, thousands and thousands of years ago when they worshiped their gods, what they would do is they would take a gourd or like a pumpkin and they would carve the face of the god that they wanted to do a sacrifice to. And what they would do is they would sacrifice a baby and they would carve it up and put the fat in the gourd and burn it. So that was their way of sacrificing to their gods. So when you have a jack-o'-lantern, you're burning a baby in effigy. And speaking of effigies, we've got this Bohemian Grove issue going on in California. And, Alex Jones got in there, oh gosh, that was 25 odd years ago, something like that. And they say that, these are the richest and most powerful politicians and business moguls on the planet. And they all descend on the Bohemian Grove, and they all have their rituals and their sacrifices, and they say it's a mock sacrifice. A mock sacrifice. Oh, I get it. The most powerful and rich people on the planet are all going to get together and make pretend? Yeah, right. No, these people, this is what they believe. And the name of their ritual that they do is called the cremation of care. Now, if you think about that, this is a ritual that they perform, that they actually believe that if they do this ritual, they are absolved of any guilt or remorse. That's why they call it the cremation of care. If you burn your care or your empathy or your compassion, you burn it in this ritual, and then you never have to feel guilty or remorseful about anything that you do. Well, you folks out there that are engaged in that kind of activity, you've been fooling yourself because it's wrong. Absolutely. It's absolutely heinous to do what you're doing. And so to fool yourself and to make yourself feel a little bit better about it, you perform this ritual that's supposed to absolve you of any guilt. But you're fooling yourself, and it was wrong, otherwise you wouldn't be doing the ritual. But, guess what? On Judgment Day, you'll be judging yourself. Anyway, I just wanted to, I got sidetracked there for a little bit. But, and I wanted to play that little bit of a clip there from J.J. Carroll from General Flynn and what's his name? Chuck Swindoll. Chuck Swindoll is the one who was talking about these people being Satanists, and they're engaging in these rituals. And like I said, because this goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. As a matter of fact, remember when Moses came down with the 10 Commandments, he found that the people had reverted back to worshiping a calf, a cow, a bull, Baal. That's what they were doing. And he got pissed off and threw the commandments down. Okay, well, just because, the Old Testament came into being and things supposedly got straightened out, don't think that the Druids and those rituals went away. No, they just went underground. And they've been there ever since. And this is some of the stuff that I learned when I had the privilege of spending time with Ted Gunderson, rest his soul, for many, many, many years. And he'd been investigating the proliferation of these satanic cults all over the country, going way back to the 70s and 80s until he retired. And yes, this stuff is real. Again, if you think this is conspiracy theory, just raise your hand and slap yourself multiple times until you wake up. That's why they get away with it, because, people swallow, oh, nobody would be that evil. Nobody would do that. No, that's conspiracy theory. That's why they get away with it, because the people out there that think that way are flaming idiots. Anyway, let me see. I had another clip here I wanted to play in this on this particular subject. Oh, yeah. I mean, just to give you an idea of how PO'd people are. I mean, they are really, really pissed off. Let me see. Where is it here? Oh, yeah, right here. I had to do some serious editing on here because there were so many F-bombs. And frankly, I don't blame people from being so pissed off to use expletive deleteds. But, well, give you an idea. Here it is.
Hey, what's up, America? Donald Trump with the Epstein files that were supposed to be released, but now people are saying it's a cover-up, and now Democrats want it released, but Ghislaine Maxwell is now saying that she's willing to testify, but Republicans are blocking her. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? So as you know, Donald Trump was supposed to release the Epstein files. They got a binder worth of it out, and now Pam Bondi says that there's nothing to show. So everybody's talking that there's a cover-up, and even Democrats are trying to see the Epstein files now. But Ghislaine Maxwell is now saying that she's ready to testify and reveal the names of all the people that were on the list, and Republicans are blocking her from doing so. That's right. That's fucking right. Republicans have stated that they're going to block any testimony from Ghislaine Maxwell about Jeffrey Epstein. So that's really up. Who's on this list? The Rothschilds? What's the deal? Because now we have Republicans pushing back on getting answers from Ghislaine Maxwell. Why would Republicans do that? Who are they protecting? What the I mean, is there some space alien overlord that's on this list we're not aware of? Is it every Republican senator that's on the list? Why are you protecting people? What the This looks like more than a cover-up. What this looks like is there might be some names or associates of people you know that you don't want to be sent to jail. Looks like you're covering that up. That's what it looks like to me. Clear as crystal, plain as day. Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to testify and openly give the public the names, and you're blocking her. Republicans are blocking her. So what is wrong with this government? How bad is this actually? I don't give a fuck about your political friends. I don't care about your donors, billionaires, celebrities. I want to see people with handcuffs on being led to jail for diddling children. Why is it that the regular creep on the street will be in jail for 60 years and you're playing softball and covering the names up? I want to see celebrity diddlers in fucking prison in orange jumpsuits being led down the pathway by an FBI agent. Whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a senator, whether it's a politician, a king, I don't give a fuck. These are child diddlers, you fucking asswipes. And Republicans are blocking that? Fuck you! I can't stand liberals, but fuck the fuck you. This is getting into time for a revolution territory, don't you think?
Yeah, tell us what you really think. Oh my word. Now this is a reflection of how a lot of people in this country are feeling right now. This is righteous rage. And I've said on this broadcast for numerous times, for months and months and months, that if we can take down this trafficking issue, this child sacrificing thing, everything else will fall into place. Now, of course, everybody's starting to say, well, which direction do we look? Okay, now a lot of people know exactly where to look, but they don't want to look. A lot of people are looking, but they're not saying anything. Now, why do you suppose that is?
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah, maybe that's got something to do with it. Well, there are some folks out there that are saying, well, maybe Trump is playing a 5D chess game here. If there is a specific intelligence group that we don't know which one it is, somewhere in the Middle East, but we're not sure. Are we, Dan Bongino? We can't really figure that one out. If there is a certain intelligence agency that's involved in all this, well, we connect the dots. You got to take a look at, what kind of influence is there. And we can look at AIPAC. Did you know that Donald Trump has received over $230 million from AIPAC? Well, guess what? If there is an intelligence an intelligence agency in the Middle East that has this information and has been using it to blackmail politicians, what if our intelligence services here in this country, what if Donald Trump and his good guys, if they are good guys, what if they've got this information too, and they are using it to reverse blackmail? Maybe this gives us an indication as to why some of this stuff is sailing through, why he's having so many successes. Maybe some of these people are backing down. There was, let me see if I can pull this up, Victor Marx, who has been he's been tracking down the traffickers. He's been investigating and exposing the sex trafficking trade all over the world. He had a very interesting point to say. This was posted on TikTok, and I don't know if you've seen, but there are posts out there with there's a voice that has the mask on, the V for Vendetta mask, V. Anyway, V has been posting a bunch of this stuff, and he posted this little segment here of Victor Marx addressing the possibility about exactly what I was just saying. Maybe this is a 5D chess game, and maybe the tables are being turned. This is something to consider. Maybe, just maybe, this is happening. Let's give this a listen.
The best form of currency right now for control and power in our world is videos or pictures of children being abused by certain adults. When you have those as leverage, you can control a person to make decisions that will shape nations and truly make the difference in both political, legal, business, and world economics.
We knew this would provoke strong reactions because what we're talking about isn't simple. It's not a movie. There's no perfect ending tied with a ribbon. This is the real world. And in the real world, sometimes you face what's called a Sophie's choice. You discovered that evil men and perhaps women run the show. They've done hideous, unmentionable things to children, and they occupy the highest offices on earth. Your instinct is justice, immediate justice, and you're not wrong to want that. But what if? What if that very instinct is what they're counting on? Because when you take down the puppet but leave the puppeteer, when you destroy the face but not the system, when you remove one head of the Hydra, two grow back. Now imagine you've got the goods, proof, undeniable, game-ending evidence. You can expose it, but you lose control. Or you can use it, and you gain control. That's the difference between vengeance and strategy. Victor Marx, who literally hunts pedophiles, believes leverage, not prosecution, is the stronger play. Because leverage gives you the power to shut it all down. Not just this ring or that person, but the whole network, the system. Not for a day, not for a headline, but for good. You want peace? You want to dismantle the war machine? You want to stop the trafficking and the suffering? Then this is the cost of control. You may not get the satisfying perp walk yet, but you get something far greater, the ability to end it all. It's messy, it's brutal, but it might be the only way. Because if you go for blood too soon, you lose the only thing worse men still fear: leverage.
Interesting, don't you think? Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. These are questions for greater minds than mine. And there's still so much information that is yet to be revealed to be able to bring us to some sort of a conclusion. Anyway, noodle on that for a couple seconds. I'll be right back. Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary. And you can get More Tank by visiting our website. Go to TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button there, and it'll take you right down to a window where you can click on it and get more information about Get More Tank. Depending upon your make, model, and year of your vehicle, whether it's gas or diesel, you'll find information there that give you all the technical data and everything they need to know on why Get More Tank is good stuff. I wouldn't be hawking it here. I wouldn't have it as a sponsor if I didn't believe in it, if I hadn't used it myself. This stuff will improve your mileage, again, depending upon your make, model, and year of your vehicle, between 15 and 20%. Now, for $20, when you use the promo code, that's how much it costs, $20, you get 5 tablets, 1 tablet per tank, and you will find, after using it for a couple of tanks, that your mileage will go up. So if you're getting 20% better mileage, do the math. You spend $20, you get 5 tablets, and that means the 5th tank is free. This is a win-win. No-brainer. So go to the website, TheWTFReports.com, click on the sponsors page, and get More Tank. You won't be sorry. All right, that said, let's see. We got 17 minutes before the top of the hour. That's how much time I got left for this broadcast. All right, we've been talking a little bit about some intelligence agency that just might be behind this whole Epstein thing. And, of course, if we have to say, okay, if this intelligence agency is an agency of a particular government, and obviously it would be, is this a good government? Is this a bunch of good people? Is this a nice country or an evil country? Well, I don't know. Well, let's take a look at one particular country and what type of activity that they've been involved with over in Gaza. Listen to this.
You can buy a Labubu for £15, but you can't buy a bag of flour in Gaza for that. You can buy a coffee for £5, but you can barely buy 1 apple in Gaza for that. You can buy a kilo of baby formula in Sainsbury's for £15. You can't buy baby formula in Gaza. There is no baby formula in Gaza. You can breastfeed in the UK, or you can choose not to. The mothers in Gaza can't breastfeed because they're malnourished themselves. The mothers in Gaza are going through a famine that is so bad that they cannot produce the milk that they need to feed their babies. Now imagine all the orphaned babies in hospitals. No baby formula, no lactating mothers, no help. It's been reported that Israeli soldiers have been confiscating baby formula that doctors have been trying to smuggle in. Let me repeat that again. Israeli soldiers have been confiscating baby formula intended for starving babies from doctors who have been trying to smuggle it in. Eyewitnesses from these hospitals have said that these babies are skin and bone, and if by some miracle they do survive, they're the damage is already done. They're already going to be severely damaged. We have seen the IOF blocking aid trucks. We have seen Israeli citizens and settlers themselves stopping aid trucks. We have seen in Egypt the Egyptian forces stopping the march to Gaza. We have seen them stop the Madeleine. These are the people, these are the children, the babies, who they are stopping the aid from getting to. I cannot comprehend how any human being can see evidence of children starving to death and choose to not do anything, and also choose to stop them from getting help. But this is the world that we live in, and this is the world that unfortunately we have helped to build. And we have helped to build this. We have been distracted by needless consumption. We've been spending our time, energy and money on things that seriously just do not matter. So you can buy a Labubu for £15.
Yeah, but wait, Israel's just defending itself, right? Yeah, do you believe that? Do you? Do you believe that they're just defending themselves? I mean, everybody has been fed, intellectual fecal matter for decades. So it should come as no surprise that when you consume intellectual fecal matter, you end up with stuff for brains. And there are still people out there that just hang on that October 7th date, say that's when this whole war started. No, I'm sorry. Somebody brought that up at a gathering where Max Blumenthal was speaking. That question came up, and here was his response.
Of course, war is horrible, so why did the Palestinians initiate this war on October 7th?
Well, they didn't. They didn't. This war has been going on for 75 years. Israel initiated it in 1948 by ethnically cleansing 750,000 people. This is what you need to understand. The people in Gaza, over 80% of them are refugees from a place called Majdal Asqalon in what is now southern Israel, in a city called Ashkelon. And they were dragged from their homes and driven from their homes, placed in prison camps, barbed wire prison camps, and then dumped in trucks in 1950 into the Gaza Strip where they would be permanently warehoused. And then Israel proceeded to move Jewish refugees and Russians into Ashkelon to prevent them from ever coming back. So this didn't come out of a vacuum. You're not going to be able to hold people under siege, cut them off from the world, and then expect them to just play along.
Since 1948, this has been going on. Yes, that's right. Israel's been defending itself since 1948. You believe that? Raise your hand. Slap yourself with it. Slap. Do it. I'll tell you, and I got to, again, I start every broadcast off with a piece of music that I did 30 years ago. You won't be trusted anymore, dedicated to the mainstream media. Now, I could expect to get the propaganda, the gaslighting, and the horse hockey from the alphabet networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox. Yeah. But in the past decade, we've got a whole bunch of conservative networks that have all of a sudden hit the airwaves, or online, I should say. You got Newsmax, and you got One America News, you got Real America's Voice, you got Next News Nation, Right Side Broadcasting, all of these networks, but every single one of them keeps on telling you Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. A lie told often enough becomes the truth, and that is the way it is, folks. Absolutely. So, I mean, if you keep on believing that, well, there's nothing I can do for you. But I do want to tell you that there is going to be payback. And I got to ask these networks, hey, Charlie Kirk, hey, all of you guys, how are you going to backpedal once the truth comes out? You've been singing the praises of Israel. All you elected officials, members of Congress, members of Senate who have a United States flag, and you got an Israeli flag there too. How are you going to backwalk this? Huh? How are you going to backwalk this when all of the truth comes out? I know you're going to fight tooth and nail to keep it from coming out because you've been either bribed, coerced, or blackmailed. That's the fact. Well, guess what? Israel is, as the truth comes out, yeah, people are going to be really ticked off. As a matter of fact, somebody posted the following statement. Here it is.
Israel supporters will be despised for the rest of their lives.
Yes, they will.
Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. Do Israel's supporters know it's over for them? Like, they know they're going to be despised for the rest of their lives, right? That they will never, ever live down the fact that they supported a live-streamed genocide, and that it will only get worse for them as history clarifies things?
Yeah, that's interesting. And maybe it's ego and pride that will prevent them from ever facing the truth, from ever looking in the mirror, forever admitting to themselves that they stood for something that was absolutely heinous, and they knew it. They absolutely knew it. Well, guess what? There is payback coming. As a matter of fact, let me see, where is it? I got a bunch of them here. Come on. Which one? I have it. Oh, there it is. Okay. A lot of countries, a lot of countries now are seeing what's going on. Unfortunately, the United States refuses to see it because we've been almost literally in bed. Well, if you take into consideration the Epstein issue, yeah, we've been in bed with Israel for decades. And Israel has been influencing, that's why I keep saying, this is the United States of Israel. Just look at all of our media. Look at the CEOs, look at the news producers, look at all the people who are in control of CBS, of ABC, NBC, CNN, all of them, every single one of them. Now, the Jewish population in this country is about 3%. But you look at what percentage of the Jewish influence is basically governing the airwaves. It's doggone near 100%. What's wrong with this picture? How did this happen? That's why I'm saying this is the United States of Israel. Well, guess what? There are a bunch of nations around the world that are they're understandably ticked off at the United States for supplying Israel with not just money, not just billions of dollars, but military hardware, guns, tanks, missiles, planes, so that they could carry on this genocide. Now, why do they keep doing it? Well, maybe it's those three magic words again.
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Well, guess what? If the United States senators and congressmen, if you don't have the testicular fortitude to do the right thing, well, there are many, many, many countries all over the world that are willing to do it. So, as a matter of fact, give a listen to this, because this could be the beginning of the end for them. Listen to this.
An opportunity has finally arrived to decisively stop Israel's genocide of Palestinians. And if you're listening to this, then you can help make it succeed. On the 15th and 16th of July, over 30 states are meeting in Colombia to decide upon emergency action to stop the genocide. It's chaired by South Africa and Colombia and led by the Hague Group, all states that are politically committed to the liberation of Palestinian people. It is clear that the only way to stop the extermination is for states to conduct a military intervention. Right now, 85% of Gaza has been declared a red zone. Israel is slaughtering people coming for aid, building concentration camps, and the IOF has confirmed that any Palestinian outside these camps will be killed. As we've been saying, this is ideological extermination. After 22 months of witnessing the worst atrocities known to humanity, in an opinion poll, nearly half of Israelis answered yes to the question, do you support the killing of all inhabitants of Gaza? Israel is not just committing genocide, but it is committed to genocide. I know this is a difficult pill to swallow, but boycotts, sanctions, and divestments, while useful, are not enough to stop the extermination in Gaza. Israel already has everything it needs on the ground to carry on killing. They have built a vast ecosystem of genocidal infrastructure to annihilate Palestinians, and experts on genocide have pointed out Israel is carrying out the equivalent of the Nazis' final solution of European Jews, i.e. kill them all. This killing will continue unless the IOF is physically stopped on the ground. Until then, we will carry on witnessing the slaughter of more Palestinians every day. 2 months ago, Protect Palestine members lobbied members of the Hague Group, urging them to form a coalition to undertake a military intervention. Hundreds of emails were sent, and I know from diplomatic contacts that they were received, and it has created pressure in support of a protective force. This meeting in Colombia is now a perfect opportunity for a protective force to be agreed and established. So here is how you can help. On our website at protect-palestine.com/Bogota, you will find a template email to Colombian embassies or the UN missions of all the states attending this meeting, urging them to establish a military force to break the siege, to facilitate the free flow of humanitarian aid, enforce a no-fly zone over Gaza, disarm Israeli military infrastructure, and ensure Israelis evacuate from Palestine as required by international law. There's also a automated email tool allowing you to send an email to states with just a few clicks. This template email also includes an English and Spanish version of our policy briefing, which sets out the legal, humanitarian, and moral obligation upon states to conduct a military intervention to stop this genocide, as well as answers to many frequently asked questions. If enough people do this, it ensures that the ministers in the decision-making room are made aware of the surging international demand for a military intervention, and it will build confidence in taking immediate action. Sending this email will take just less than a minute, so please take action to back a military intervention and keep up the momentum until the genocide stops and Palestine achieves liberation.
Okay, so if you'd like to participate in that, you can email or you can go to the website protect-palestine.com/Bogota. Again, that's protect-palestine.com/Bogota. And if they're talking about military intervention, let's not forget that you can't put it past these monsters to exercise the Samson option. That's something else that is, that's on the table. Because if Israel feels threatened, they might just launch all their nuclear weapons and destroy the entire world. That's how insane these people are. Now, again, I'm not going after Jews. It's not got nothing to do with that. If you think this is anti-Semitism, raise your hand and slap yourself real hard this time. Because there was a Jewish guy that was screaming from the rooftops. There's lots of Jews all over the world that are saying, not in our name. Give a listen to this.
I ask Jews all over the world to consider what this man, Benjamin Netanyahu, and his right-wing government is doing to the Jewish people all over the world. They are endangering not only the state of Israel, which I care deeply about and want to exist, but they are endangering the Jewish population all over the world. He is the most dangerous thing, not just since October 7th. It has been a deeply troubled situation.
And endangering the Jews by endangering those in Gaza.
And to watch what is happening for the Jewish people, to allow this to happen to children and civilians of all ages in Gaza, for whatever reason, is unconscionable and unthinkable. And I ask you Jews everywhere all over the world to spend some time alone and think, is this acceptable and sustainable? How could it be done to you and your ancestors, and you turn around and you do it to someone else?
Unbelievable. Yeah, I echo his sentiments exactly. And I would put a plea out to all the Jewish folks out there. This is being done in your name. How do you feel about that? Is that what you stand for? I want to remind you that the cabinet, Netanyahu, they're not Israelis. They are not. They are Eastern Europeans. They come from Poland. They come from Austria. They come from everywhere except the indigenous area of the Middle East. And ancestry studies have proven that 97.5% of the Israelis are of Eastern European and North American descent. The same ancestry study has proven that the Palestinians, 80% of them are indigenous. The Palestinians are the Semites. The Israelis are the anti-Semites. But you've been sold a bill of goods. Yeah, and meanwhile, they're herding all of the remaining Palestinians down to the shore. You can't go anywhere except for sitting on the beach, and if you dare go in the water, they'll kill you. Yeah, you can't go fishing. Nope, can't go in the water to cool off. No, you touch the water, they'll kill you. Well, that's because Israel's defending itself, right? I don't know. If you're not mad yet, I don't know what's wrong. All right, that's going to do it for today's broadcast. If you enjoy this broadcast, please show your support, do business with our sponsors, and you may even want to contribute to our GoFundMe so we can grow the program. It costs money to do that. Anyway, that said, we're going to be out of here. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, same website. So until then, God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all.